9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay, we are live. As soon as it wants to flip over and show us. Yeah, it'll get there. Yay, we're there. I can hear it on your end. I don't know why or how.
Turn my phone.
All right, your Skype is cutting in and out a little bit, so I hope we're getting storms tonight. So I don't know what's up with the text on the screen. It's acting all wonky too. Hang on, let me.
Yeah, I kind of saw that.
It's not how I had it. Oh my gosh. Tell you what, we're just gonna roll with it. That's supposed to be streaming at the bottom. So whatever. We'll go with it.
Yep.
So, let's see, who do we have here? We have Dean. I think I see you. If you're still here, thank you for joining us. Let's see. Anybody else here with us? We'll give it a couple minutes.
Yeah.
And maybe I can figure out what in the world is going on with this thing. Because it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be scrolling, but it isn't. Oh, and by the way, my dog is sitting here down by my feet because it's thundering and lightning. You don't understand.
Which one?
Oh, Annie.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Crazy ass dog.
Yeah. There we go. Let's see if that does it. Hey, awesome. At least that will. Okay.
Hey, Dennis is watching.
Hey, Dennis, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Hey. Yeah, we were just waiting a little bit for some folks to join, but not too much to talk about tonight except for tomorrow. And we're sad that you're not going to be able to join us. We're going to miss you. But we understand you have family coming in, so enjoy your time with them for sure. So, Chris, why don't you go ahead and kick us off? And for those of you that saw, I was really hoping that Chris didn't cry, that we weren't opening up to Chris crying because that was his dad. And so send your love and wishes to him.
Yeah.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah, so my father passed on past Sunday due to multiple complications, but damn, is it the pug?
Yep.
Well, I mean, he, the good thing is at least he passed in his sleep peacefully, so I'm happy about that. And of course I'll miss all the fun and antics, that he always provided, because I was telling Melissa earlier today, see about a couple of the incidents that occurred during my childhood as to how silly he is.
You know what? I think one would be completely appropriate to tell what he did to you guys.
The alien one?
Yeah, go ahead. Go tell him this story. That's hilarious.
Okay, so I'm out in the wood. We're out in the woods having a camping trip, family. Of course, my uncle, which is also my dad's college buddy. He's not actually my uncle, but we all went in the woods, and basically my uncle was telling me, like, hey, did you know there was a UFO that crashed out here in the woods a couple of days ago? And I was like, no, we didn't. It's like, well, I think I know where it crashed. And so basically my uncle's like leading us over, and he's going like, hey, I think he's over here. And it's like, so we're just hopping along, yada, 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 like little kids and stuff. And of course, out pops my old man. He's like covered in tinfoil and freaking chem lights. And he's like freaking making these noises. It basically scares the living bejesus out of us. I mean, I'm pretty sure my sister, she was watching. She'd probably be just like going, "Oh my god, I remember this stuff," And I was like, "This scares the living crap out of us."
Yeah.
Then there was another time, I guess. Like, let's see, what was this? What was the other one I was telling you about? It was the well, he also took us snipe hunting. I never knew what snipe hunting was. That was another camping trip.
What is snipe hunting, Chris?
No, I'm not going to ruin for other dads, especially if kids may be watching. So I'm not going to ruin it. So, I'm going to keep that a secret. So,
Okay.
What else did he do to us? Oh, well, speaking of, being the 4th of July coming up and everything, see, we're at the Grand Lake in Oklahoma, and basically the old man was always daring me. I built like a bottle rocket gun out of wiffle ball bats, taped them together with a couple PVC pipes on the side, and basically the old man was daring me like, "You can't get me, you can't get me." Those little those moon whistler rockets.
Oh, I've had some incidents with those.
Yeah. So he was daring me like, "Hey, you can't hit me, you can't hit me." So he's out there on the rack out in the lake and stuff. It's like I sent one right underneath the water and just went, zoomed up and torpedoed his ass. All I heard was like "Oh fuck." And he basically, the raft sunk and stuff, and basically he just like rolled off the raft and everything, and then all I heard was my mom yelling at him, "God damn it, Bill." So that was pretty entertaining. But yeah, so I mean, but yeah, I'll be his memorial service is on the 3rd of August, so it's on a Saturday. So I'll be departing shortly after, to head up back to Kansas City for a few days, to attend the services and stuff. So, but that's the small little thing in between. But it'll be good to see the family again. Even though I'd rather see them under other circumstances, but it'll be a good gathering and stuff like that.
Yeah, my dad passed away 2 years ago, so I can empathize. And so
yeah, I find it kind of funny. They were both plumbers and stuff. That's
yeah.
It.
Both of our dads were plumbers, and same age. Actually, your dad was like 6 months older than my dad.
Oh wow, that's craziness.
No, 5 months. 5 months older. Yeah, and so if he was from Pennsylvania, or if my dad was from Kansas City, they would have almost been like brothers from another mother, huh?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's definitely no lie there.
And
Holy crap.
I'm sure. Eventually, your dad's gonna laugh at you just like me when my dad's laughing at me.
Yeah.
He's up there having a good old time now. So, but
oh, good God, it's like the life of a party and stuff like that.
Yeah, my dad was very well liked too. Something tells me it'll be a rather large. Yep, that's what I keep hearing, Dennis. I hear his dad was pretty great. And so.
He was a comedian, always pulling all sorts of stuff just to make my mom and everybody else mad. That was the funny thing about it, It's like craziness.
Well, now we know where you got your sense of humor from, or at least I have to take your word for it. But
well, I'm more like a little bit more tamed down. Basically, he's like 10 times worse than I am. Let's put it that way.
So, in other words, what you're telling me is that, once he kind of goes through all the things that he goes through in the afterlife, and he has a turn to come back and play pranks on you, you're going to have a lot of pranks on you? Is that what I'm feeling?
Yeah, more than likely.
Like he's going to be like, "Oh, hey, Chris, I'm going to turn that water off in your basement again." And you're going to be like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea how that happened. It's just weird as hell,
And like
Probably.
The water main, you have to physically turn that, don't you? Like a good 4 turns.
Yeah, it's down in the basement, and all the doors are locked and everything, so I have no idea. It's just
Ginger morphed because she's a crypto. She's,
that crazy ass chihuahua.
she's not a chihuahua. She's only in disguise as a chihuahua. And she morphs when you're at work during the day. And she sneaks down to the basement and she turns your your water off.
It wouldn't surprise me that dog is like full of crack or something. I don't know what it is. She's like all over the freaking place. Yeah, she's still a puppy, but she's like 5 years old. It's like, what the heck. But yeah, she's like, that dog's got more energy than anything I ever knew. So
I'll probably get a visit from the cat here soon too. She's already eyeballing me. She's like, "Oh, you left your door open, huh? Huh?"
oh, the fat cat that just loves to snuggle.
Yeah. Yeah, little keekers. So, interesting story. You saw my thing this morning. So again, it's on my personal page, but there was a big fire in our county today. So there was a guy who was left pretty much his family and his entire belongings. His name is Brian. If you guys could keep him in your thoughts too. I don't know him personally, but to go through such tragedy and devastation, to lose your family and all of your belongings and your fur babies. I mean, fur babies. I have a zoo here. I don't know what I would do without them or my daughter or my family. So, just keep them in your thoughts too. But let's cheer up the mood a little, huh?
Oh yeah, bring it on.
Bring it on. Oh well,
Bring it on.
You can sing for us.
No, you don't want me to sing. I suck at singing.
Dennis, you're gonna miss it. He sings when we go on investigations, and I catch him on camera.
Like, what was it? I was singing that one time. I can't. What was I singing that one time?
About some woman.
Oh, no, it wasn't Amy. Amy, what you gonna do? No, I don't think it was that one.
Oh, I got you to sing.
Oh boy, so many. That reminds me. Singing and all that stuff. Used to be on when I was on deployment all the time. Yeah, there was this kid. He was from Kansas City, but of course he was a Kansas State fan, and of course me being from KU. No, but
man, I was out there. All right, like I'm not going to say anything bad, but when I went out there, that place was a ghost town in Manhattan, Kansas.
Yeah, it's Kansas State. What do you expect? No, but like what I used to do every day for like 6 months straight. I used to play Chicago. Ooh, please don't go. Every single day, kid walked in the office, and I used to sing it to him too. It was just used to drive him freaking nuts. It was just my little thing, like having a good time, just to antagonize the poor kid. And of course, him being a E4 and me being a chief, I just had to have fun at it, so just to like drive him freaking up the wall and stuff. God damn it, chief, stop it. But you gotta have your good times out there, just enjoy yourself, because otherwise you'll go insane. You gotta have a little bit of sense of humor when you're out in deployments and stuff, out for so long,
Oh yeah, we played a lot of pranks. So I know this is totally off topic for everybody, and we're just having a little fun tonight because we're going to talk about our paranormal lockdown tomorrow in Henricus, and we're also going to talk about a contest. But we're having some fun tonight. I think it's well deserved after the week. I remember when we were on the USS Cormorant, my ship, we had an MS or a cook who got seasick so badly. Not something you want. You don't want your cook to be seasick. And
nope.
The engineers,
that's crap in a whole different way.
our engineers had so much fun with him. They all right, clear plastic bags, right? The trash bags. They would fill it up with like beef stew or something
Oh, nice.
and tie it onto their belt and walk onto the fantail. And because that's where everybody went to go congregate, right? And that poor kid. As soon as he walked out, he'd walk out. He was like, kind of like he always had like that bounce in his step and the perma smile, like, you know. And he'd see that bag, and then they'd start making some gagging sounds, and oh my God, that poor kid. Next thing you know, you see him turning green, and he is puking over the side.
Nice.
Of course, I felt bad for him because I'm like, you either get seasick or you like love it because it puts you to sleep really good. And I was the one that got put to sleep really good, and that poor kid, he just never got used to it, I don't think. So, and so Dennis says he'll have a chance at the cabin. You sure will, Dennis. You'll have a chance to. Well, gosh, we'll see you long before then. So you'll see it before then. But yeah, you'll definitely get a good toast of it at the cabin. You'll get like a lot of it. We'll be seeing you a lot over the next couple of months. So you'll be telling him to shut up and don't quit your day job, and you'll start sounding like, oh, I went to a concert this week, and I don't like talking about. We saw Tiffany. She should stay retired. If you watch my videos on my Facebook, on my personal Facebook. Are your sisters on here?
Yep, she's on here.
Cool. Hey, Nikki. How are you? Yay. So, yeah, you'll be telling him, stop it. Oh, or he's in luck. Well, no, because we still have... All right, so we're just talking about some funny stuff that we've already learned. My body cam broke, so I won't have my body cam tomorrow, and I'm a little peeved off about that because I've only had it about 6 months. But the last time somebody wore my body cam...
Don't look at me, man.
Oh, no, you didn't break it. Somebody decided to go to the bathroom and forgot to turn it off.
Ah, here we go. Yeah, so... Here we go.
Oh. Wait a minute, Dennis, you were Navy too?
No. He was he tiger cruised.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Sick as a dog. Oh. You just keep your eyes on the horizon. That's all you gotta do. Yeah. So, Chris goes in and this was at Dunlora in Mineral, Virginia. He goes in the bathroom, and I didn't see any particulars.
Bits and pieces, yep.
No, I didn't see. Thank goodness. That would have been awkward for viewing evidence.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was sitting there and I was watching, reviewing the evidence, and I'm like, okay, Chris, you need to hydrate. So you're bringing plenty of water tomorrow, right?
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be hot. I'm just looking out for you. Hey, ooh, Matthew's on
I got
here
my body.
too.
I got my body armor, so.
Got your body armor. How about some water? Ooh, I got beef jerky, and I got lots of sugar.
Mm. Oh, speaking of which, you remember what I shared with you earlier today, right? That picture I sent you? The watermelon.
What? The watermelon?
Yeah, crushed watermelon.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking the other picture of Toy Story's toys. Hey, this is Mommy's toy. Okay, for the vivid imagination, I sent him a cartoon. We posted the PG one on our Instagram, but for the non-PG one, we have one where Mama's toy is introduced to Andy's toy, and you guys can kind of figure out which one Mama's toy was. Ooh, we might. Chris, did you see?
Yep,
Yeah,
I did.
I would love to take you up on that. Cool. You're so generous. That's why we like you. We don't care what everybody else says about you.
Thanks, Dennis.
Oh, we can check out. Well, we've never even seen your old house, so we don't even know what to compare. But check out this balcony view of yours too. And Emily will be with us, so who knows? All right. Well, I guess we should stop BSing.
Yep. Off track.
No, I like. We have fun.
I'm
BSing.
going off the rails on a crazy train.
We need to get Dennis on here one night. Dennis, do you want to get on here one night with us? The new design. What new design?
Spit it out, sir. Spit it out.
All right. Well, I was gonna. All right. So, I will talk about the contest. So, we just hit over 700 something followers, a lot, and we're super grateful. And so we wanted to put out a contest out there to thank everybody. Unfortunately, the website was supposed to go live at 8. I just checked it. It didn't go live. I will fix that. So it'll be live after we end our stream, but the address for it is at the bottom of our screen, and it's on our website. And so you go there, and it's limited to 100 people. So the first 100 people to sign up, it's open over the next week. We are gonna, the tool's gonna pick it out for us. So it's not we, it's the computer. It's gonna randomly pick someone out of that 100 to receive not just a t-shirt. It'll look kind of, well, we posted a picture of it. It'll have this logo and this,
Like
but it'll be like big. And then also a coffee mug. And then, by the way, Dennis, we got a little something special coming for you too. We just talked about that. So, ooh, tripod mountable. 30% smaller. So size does matter. In this case, that's good.
My hands are in my lap.
In your lap.
Otherwise, you're number one.
Your hands are in your lap.
Otherwise, you're number one.
No. I'm okay with being number one. I'm just thinking, why are your hands in your lap?
I'm just trying to keep them like stabilized instead of expressing my emotion right now.
I think you are expressing your emotion in a different manner. I'm sorry, it's Goofy Friday, and we're completely sober. So imagine us after we've had a few.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Found up.
Out of those 100 folks, we're gonna one lucky person's gonna receive a t-shirt and a mug. So we think it's pretty cool. Maybe so far we've
Dennis. You see that crap?
We love you, Dennis. We do. Oh,
Stop, man. I can't take it anymore. Oh, I'm gonna tear up.
You are getting a mug. You're gonna get a special mug. It's a super cool mug, like way cooler than all the others.
Yeah.
Should we tell them? So it looks black, right, at first, and then when you pour in the hot liquid, it gradually shows. 2 shakes is business, 3 or more is play. How many shakes? How many shakes, Chris?
1 or 2. 3 more, of course.
Don't choke. We need you tomorrow. Oh, here we go.
I'm good.
Are you sure?
I'm good.
Let's see. I don't want Chris to touch it. I know where his. I have lots of Purell in our little tackle box.
I'm good. I'm good.
You're turning red.
Yeah, I'm just laughing too hard. That's all it is.
Well, while you're
All right.
doing that, I have a perfect time to save down a picture of what the t-shirt and the mug look like. Oh my god, but no, don't die. Don't die over there. Um, all right, well, yay. I love this new tool. So we were working with OBS and we were having nothing but issues using OBS, so we went over to XSplit. And other than some glitching, because Skype is a resource hog that we found out, we're loving it. No drops. And so, okay, let me. So, for those of you who want to enter and win, let me bring up the picture and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, and I'm getting there. Okay, cool. Boom. Let's move over to this. I'm bleaching my damn mug. No, he won't touch it. I won't let him. All right. So oh my gosh. All right, this is the t-shirt and the mug that we're doing a contest for. What's that, Chris?
Dude, mushroom seasoning.
This is not a cast iron mug. Good grief.
No. A coffee mug, one way or another, you leave it dirty and it stains, it loses seasoning.
Well, let him do it on his own.
Okay.
So, Dennis, the mug that you're gonna get, it'll have that symbol underneath, but it's just really cool. It starts. It's like one of those heat thermal ones, so it's like magic. It'll appear, and then you're not gonna get that T-shirt either. That's we're gonna give you a really cool T-shirt. So, not that this T-shirt isn't cool, but yeah. So.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about that. I have up on screen Henricus Historical Park. And Chris is the historian. Hopefully you've done a little bit of the background.
Yep.
Cool. You want to tell some stories?
Switch over here. So essentially, Henricus was one of the first earliest English settlements in the New World. It was located basically in the neck of the peninsula later known as Ferrars Island, a former, basically sits right on the, it's like a peninsula right in the James River. And it's about 12 miles southeast of Richmond right now is where we're heading off to. And what else here? But basically, if you know Pocahontas, this is basically where Pocahontas basically stopped Captain John Smith getting killed by her tribe. Basically, she like stepped in, basically covered him, so he wouldn't get beat to death. And then, of course, with a whole lot of all the Confederates and things of that nature, a lot of action happened in that area as well. I'm not exactly sure of the supposed battles, but of course there were a lot of skirmishes down there because it's like the Union versus Confederacy, a lot of things of that nature. Let's see what else here. But yeah, it was just basically a Dutch settlement, down the area, and a lot of things have happened there, of course. But nowadays it's just a reconstructed site, replicating a settlement, a colonial settlement with actors and everything else of that nature. But of course, this is for a good cause, and only what we're doing is like part of the funds that are coming from this investigation help support the keeping
Scares that care.
scares the care, but also the investment alive as far as for upkeep of the actual living historical museum. Of Hunter so, which I'm cool with that. I was like
58 CW deaths per Dennis. I have a crazy idea. Dennis, do you want to join us?
Ooh.
On the fly? I can bring you in on Skype. All you have to do is just message me your Skype handle. It'll be a fun time. So, my friend Brian just joined. Hi, Brian. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about where we're going, Henricus Historical Park down in Chester. We're going there tomorrow. I'm pretty psyched about it. I've always...
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, but I was telling Chris when he first joined me on this whole venture, I've investigated everywhere but our own backyard. And it's crazy because people are like, why aren't you investigating your backyard? Essentially, because of so much history here. And it's like, well, kind of grew up here. I grew up in Fairfax, so DC was kind of more... I don't care to go too close to DC anymore because I've been there, done that, had my fill more than once. I don't know. I always kind of took things for granted. Now I'm kind of realizing that was not the greatest move on my part because there's so much here. Yeah. And so a whole new light. Oh, hey. All right. I'm going to pop out of the chat and I'm going to message you real quick.
But yeah, just to kind of tell you like some of the history because, of course, as a retired meteorologist from the Navy, we actually run the United States Naval Observatory up in DC. One of the tales I used to hear is like how Lincoln used to come down and visit every night just to look through the telescope down there. He'd walk through, because it's on the basically, like, the funny thing is, like, how it kind of occurs, like, used to have, like, the oceanographer of the Navy used to live on the premises, and then, of course, it kind of, the oceanographer of the Navy had a party, of course, the chief of naval operations, he came over and visited the house and stuff, and basically the chief of naval operations said, I like this house, you're getting out of here. So he basically kicked the oceanographer from the Navy out, and then the CNO, or chief of naval operations, basically had another party. The Secretary of Defense liked it so much, he moved in, kicked the CNO out, and then the SecDef had another party, and basically the Vice President of the United States liked it so much he moved in. So now it's now known as the Vice President's his residence now. So it's kind of funny how things like that happen.
Okay. Bear with me for a second. I am going to keep doing your thing, Chris. I'm going to try to bring Dennis in.
But yeah, it's like if you guys ever get a chance, because it's open to the public, you can stare through the telescope. I know it's not going to probably be the best lighting conditions due to light pollution and stuff in the city of DC and all that. But it's still a pretty cool place. It's most basically the world's biggest library of type of language. And if you ever see like the vice president speaking, surrounded by the library, that's where he's at. He's on the
Yay!
He's on the there he is. Oh my God.
That's frightening.
Uh-oh.
Yes,
frightening.
Me.
Hi. Okay.
Morning, everybody.
I just have to fix the screen so it recognizes you real quick.
I don't need to be recognized.
Oh. Not true. Okay, let's see here.
Shit, where'd you go?
Should see me. Oh, did you lose me?
No, it's fine. I had a screen pop up over the screen, and all of a sudden I'm staring at something totally different. We won't discuss what that was.
Okay. Let's see here. I have you both on screen now, so we're good. Yay!
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So for those of you who are watching, joining us is Dennis Estlock. We absolutely adore him, and we're sad that you're not joining us tomorrow. Dennis Estlock, you are caretaker and of Cabinet on 360, correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Correct.
And also founder of Crop.
Correct.
Awesome. So, yeah, we can't say enough good things about him. So, and we've only met you once, but I heard a lot about you before I met you.
We already said two good things, and that was too many.
Oh, and he's super modest. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just I'm just a normal guy.
yeah.
I just happen to I haven't figured out what I want to be when I grow up, so I'm kind of into a little bit of everything: history, paranormal, locations. Just I think they all kind of have to go together, don't they? I mean, you have to be a history nut to do paranormal simply because of what you're going to encounter.
Oh, definitely.
It's definitely gotten me more into history. Um, I talked to my daughter about it because she didn't do so hot on social studies this year. Um, but she's a math whiz and she is super into STEM. So she'll probably follow in my footsteps with all the gadgets. So, but now I keep telling her, I was like, you need to learn this. If you don't learn it, you're bound to repeat mistakes.
Yeah.
So, and they went to Monticello this year too for a field trip, and maybe one day she'll appreciate it. So,
How old is she?
10.
Give her a little bit of time, or she'll find something in history that just clicks. And she'll be like, oh my God, I got to research more of that. And that will mushroom and mushroom and mushroom. And then she'll find that so many things tie together that then you'll have a history nut on your hands.
Yeah.
If I tell her about the fashion of what 17th century France, she'll probably get into it.
This, all right, so history in and of itself is kind of like a seed. Once that little seed is planted, it grows and grows and grows. And your desire for it grows just endlessly. I mean, all right, so I ended up, all right, well, I had a fascination with Henricus that you guys are going to get locked into tomorrow. You'll absolutely love it there. So Jamestown settled 1607. It was a failing settlement. There was cannibalism. They were starving. So they sent Sir Thomas Dale up the James River in 1611, and he founded the city of Henricus. Um, and then he actually had to pass where I'm at right now, which is in Hopewell, to get to Henricus from Jamestown. He then came back south on the James and in 1617 founded Point of Rocks, which is virtually right across the Appomattox River from where I am. So now I have not only a desire to learn about Jamestown because I got so fascinated with Henricus, now I have a fascination with the town that I'm in, not just because I'm here, but because the same people started it, that started this place that I had a fascination with to begin everything. And now I want to find out about Point of Rocks because he did it too. And it's like, it's one small seed grows so many different things. So, I mean, she will find something that plants that seed of interest in her that it's going to take off. And then you're going to be going, holy Christ, kid, we don't have that kind of money for all those books.
She already kills me at the book fair.
That's awesome.
But it's Harry Potter right now.
Oh boy.
Or she's all about fantasy right now. So unicorns, fairies.
Not a
Tolkien.
thing wrong with that.
No.
Mm-mm.
No. We all have to have a little bit of fantasy life in our minds to keep us going. I mean, if we live in nothing but reality, God, how sucky is life. But if we can't close our eyes for a moment and have that fantasy of, like me, I have a fantasy often that I'm good looking. I have to have fantasy just to keep life worthwhile.
You know, I was telling my mom, so you actually remind me of my brother. You look a lot like my brother, and you have a lot of similar,
Attributes.
Yeah, big too.
same No, you just remind me a lot of my brother.
The humor and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that means it's a good thing. You like your brother, right?
We had our moments, but yeah, for the most part, I did. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure you didn't have like dreams and fantasies of, imprinting Louisville Slugger across the forehead hard way.
No, God, if anything, I have scars for life because he used to scare the crap out of me when I was a kid. So he would put on, in my room, he would wait until I was dead asleep, and then he would go put on a Halloween mask, usually a werewolf or something, and he'd creep into my room, and then he would wake me up, and I would scream. And so finally, my dad had enough of that, and my dad's like, "You're gonna get a taste of your medicine." So he did it to my brother. Yeah, and my brother stopped doing it after my dad did it back to him. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'd love that. See, and for me, my favorite thing to do, if I get a chance, I want to get the two of you. So I can't see the list of who's in, but somewhere in here, I think Melissa Grubbs might have stepped in.
Oh, cool.
So she was at the cabin the week before last. And she knew I was walking behind her, but I was several steps behind her. And then I took like 4 or 5 large steps, and I was like this close behind her ear, and I just kind of leaned in and went, "I'm a demon."
No.
She was all over the sidewalk. She was doing a live. I wasn't aware that she was.
Oh my! You know what? I'm thinking. I've been thinking about maybe bringing. Would you let me bring a doll for Dobby?
Well, there's several there, but you're welcome to.
It's a Damn It doll, and it's redhead, and it looks like.
Oh.
It looks like the one that I posted on my Facebook. It looks like an evil Raggedy Ann, and it can pull legs and arms off. And I think, well, he might have some fun with it.
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
So I'll tell you, you two are in for a treat, man. I don't even, Chris, have I told you about what the team went through last week with just the walkthrough?
No.
We use an expression off the chain. Or this one, they stole the damn chain, man. I'm not kidding. My doppelganger was seen in the building.
I saw you mention that. That's crazy.
So there were only 3 guys on the whole team. Argos Paranormal, really nice guys. They're into the journalistic aspect, the history of it. As they put it, we would rather, from a journalistic standpoint, debunk everything and not have anything paranormal happen. But we realized that's not possible. There will be some paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
In an hour and a half. All right, so they got there at like 6 o'clock, 10 till 6, something like that. I started our walkthrough in the log cabin. One of their members says that he's starting to develop his abilities, and he doesn't want to be told anything. So I'm upstairs in the back room with one of the other members, and I'm telling him and showing him pictures that have been given to us by other teams and so forth. And he comes running upstairs like, I don't know, like just crazed. And he's like, "All right, have you guys got a cat in this damn place?" No. Why? He's like, "I was sitting down in the main room, like where the TV is. I had my back to the TV, And there's that one log that goes overhead. He said, I caught something out of the top of my vision, and I looked up and there was a black cat's tail just swinging off of that log. He said, as I turned and looked, there were a pair of hands wrapped around the log that just kind of rolled back to the top of the log and disappeared. And I went, wait, so let me get this right. There was a cat with black hands, and he does one of these looks. It does sound crazy, but I swear to God, I'm not nuts. I saw it.
No, I believe things like that. Yeah, it can happen.
Oh, yeah. So then we're like, I mean, we came back downstairs so he could point and show us exactly where he was and where it was. And all of a sudden, one of the other members just goes, holy shit, did you guys see that? What? I didn't see a damn thing. What? He's like, you sure there's no cats in here? And I'm like, dude, I swear to God, I've never seen a cat in this damn building. He goes, I just saw what looked like an orange tabby cat run up the steps. You guys really didn't see that. And I'm like, what the fuck? You guys are cat obsessed. Are you all right? They're like, this place ain't right. Well, Ryan reminded me that like 3 weeks ago, we had a group of ladies that had ladies' night out there. And
Now I have that song in my head.
yeah, absolute sweethearts. But they reported hearing a cat meowing in the kitchen. We've never had that.
Huh.
They said that one of the folding, like we've got, I don't know, a dozen folding lawn chairs in the main room. They
Yep.
said one of those moved like 2 feet on its own. Just all kinds of stuff. But anyway, with Argos, we were back over in the Brick Rancher, and I'm in one of the back rooms, and I'm telling them what we believe to be in the basement so they're sensitive, one doesn't hear it. And all of a sudden he comes walking in and looks at us, looks back out, looks back at me, and he goes, I think we got a problem. Oh, what's wrong? He goes, either you're really, really fast, I blacked out, or your doppelganger just walked across the damn kitchen because I saw you in the kitchen, but you're standing here. I went, welcome to the cabin on 360, gentlemen.
Wow.
So
So
like that.
Is that the first time that you've had your doppelganger sighted there? Has anybody else experienced that before?
not that I've been told. Now, I have had, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 other times that my doppelganger has been seen, but at the cabin or the Brick Rancher, that's a first.
Wow.
But we had, what, 2, 3, 4 disembodied voices in the building with us. I did the, shaving a haircut, don't. I had, one of them, it wasn't a back, it was, and they're like, holy shit. And we're looking where we heard that noise come from. The guy holding the camera over here by the kitchen door takes like 3 big steps towards us and goes, holy shit, you guys hear that? We went, yeah, knocked back over there. He goes, no, some woman screamed behind me. You didn't hear that?
Huh.
No.
Did they have the recorders going?
They had, one of them had an H1, the Zoom H1, so I'm hoping it picked it up.
Yeah.
Plus, he was running a very high-end digital camera. So I'm hoping their audio picked up everything that occurred because there was some crazy happenings. We were in Melissa's room, and the guy standing at the door with the camera while I was talking about the history that we know of, just all of a sudden kind of lets out this screech and lurched at me, and I almost clocked him just as a response. And he's like, you guys didn't hear that? I'm like, hear what? He's like, some dude just yelled, help me, right behind me. Didn't hear shit.
Really?
He's like, oh, it was like right in my ear. You guys didn't hear that? I'm like, no. So, they definitely, well, the one statement that was made was, we've done dozens and dozens of locations, and we've had more during our walk through here than we've had on some of our full investigations. This place is just fucked up. All I can do is laugh and go, yeah, well, welcome to the cabin on 360, gentlemen. It gets worse.
Definitely does.
Well, I know Chris has really been looking forward to coming. He can't stop. I'm like, Chris, um, is there something you should tell me? Like, is it, like I'm like, did you bring something back with you? Because like he just seems like he has this fascination with it, but I think he just fell in love with it.
Well,
Yeah, because I mean, there's so much stuff. I mean, we haven't hit everything. You know, we were just like basically like one location on the plot to the other location. We haven't even explored the back area, you know. But I guess that's probably due to all the mosquitoes and stuff like that. So I mean, there's so much more to. I mean, it's like Disneyland. You can't see it all in one day, you know, or one night.
yeah, and that's true. And I'll tell you, we had Dave Spinks and Sean Austin come out and spend Friday night to Sunday morning. And Dave said it would take him a week to get through everything that's there and try to understand all the different facets to the location. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I mean, so we have what's been termed as a bus terminal is the cabin itself. There's just so much coming and going, coming and going. Then we have the Brick Rancher that has several resident spirits. Then it has well, we call him Dobby in the basement because the image that was drawn for us from a young lady that saw him and a thermal image that was picked up on him kind of resembles Dobby from
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. So we've just named him Dobby the House Elf. But I will tell you, he is an evil little bastard. I believe he's a shapeshifter. I believe he can transport. We had a couple, this is probably a year and a half ago, that came out and joined us for one of our events. You know, we do a lot of charity events there. And I got a phone call from him like 2 days later, and he says, man, that place is just, something ain't right. He's like, I think something left with us.
Uh-oh.
Like, really? Like, you know, they usually, I mean, they may leave and venture out and check out the world, but they always seem to come back. And he goes, well, so the stereo in our van hasn't worked for like 6 months. Like, no matter what I can do, no matter what I do, I can't get it to come back on. We've taken it to the dealership, and they said that it's just shot. We have to replace it, and it's like $1,000 or some crap. Because we left there and made it like a half mile down the road. The stereo comes on blaring like death metal, and neither of us listened to that. He's like, we kind of looked at each other, looked to the back. He said, I jammed the brakes, hit the button for the sliding side door, and said, you got to get the fuck out. You can't go with us. He said, right then, the stereo shut off. I've tried for 2 days since to get it to come back on. It hasn't come back on. He's like, but we certainly wouldn't have had it on death metal. And I don't even think there's a local radio station for that.
Huh.
So it was definitely interesting.
So they think that maybe Dobby was
I think he
taking a
hitched
ride with them?
a little bit.
Huh.
He hitched the ride for a little bit. What the hell? Let's go check out what they're about. Because he had been in the basement a little bit of, I don't want to say he was provoking, but he was a little antagonistic.
Oh.
Okay.
So, and I mean, I do it all the time. But I also I know Dobby, and I know me, and I know what I bring to the table spiritual wise. So, I mean, the first thing I'll do, I'll knock on the door to the basement. And I'm like, we're coming down, asshole. I mean, he's already had his go at me.
Yeah. What did
so-
he try to do?
Well, I went through, what was it, 11 years I hadn't been stopped by police at all. Hadn't had any interaction with the police. And after one specific night out there that, I mean, he kind of attacked one of my members. She had scratches across the back of her neck, and I went off on him.
Wow.
I challenged him that if you're going to screw with anybody, you screw with me, but you leave my team alone, especially my females. You can screw with me, but not them. Well, within the next 3 weeks, I had citation for reckless driving because I did a burnout.
Oh.
Yeah, there were
Was that in your
3.
Dodge truck that you got? You did a burnout, testing it out?
Well, that was my old Dodge,
Okay.
the Cummins diesel, and it was even more badass than the new one. But yeah, 3 times within, I think, 3 weeks that I had to interact with our local law enforcement.
Oh, wow. Huh. Interesting. I know he gave me a hell of a headache when I was there.
Yeah, I remember you had to step outside quite a few times. So you weren't feeling all that well, so.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when we went back later that evening, nothing. So, like you said, he does kind of come and go.
Yeah, the pressure. Well, I felt so when Argos was there. I walked into the living room, and just instantly I found it hard to breathe, and I'm like, I know he's here. And then like the dead center of the back of my head, I started to get the headache. So I know he was there,
Mm-hmm.
but he was kind of laying low. But he was definitely there.
Hmm.
So, but I think he does transport. I just don't like. I don't want to. I don't know how you would actually verify a portal, but I'm fairly certain there's a portal there.
And it was
Yeah.
through the stairs, you said, right?
I think so. I
Yeah.
think it's the basement. Honestly, I think it's the sump pit. So, but I don't know how you would actually verify that. I mean, we've gone into that house and actually shut the main breaker off, so there's absolutely no power in the house, and still get spikes on EMF, both millimeter and K2s. I mean, I've seen the K2 peg red
Really?
on west in the woods. There's nothing in the woods to cause K2 activity. But I've seen it peg red only in response to specific questions. And it deals with the history of that land. So, I mean, they're there, they're intelligent. And it's not just Dobby that can do it. There's numerous other spirits there that can interact through our devices, which I think is fantastic.
I think Chris, when you were doing the Estes method on SB7, you picked up John. I think was his name. Was it John or Tom? It was a
John.
gentleman. Yeah. Are you familiar with anybody by the name John that hangs out around there?
Not offhand.
Okay.
I mean, there's so many. It's
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know where to begin with the amount of spirits that just pass through there.
Yeah, I guess as Dennis was saying, it's like a freaking bus stop, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I know from a historic standpoint who maybe 5 would be, and that's about it. But I mean, we've had, so we know that, well, locals have told us anyway, Mechanicsville is kind of one of those towns that once you live there, you just don't leave.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that were born, raised, and will die in Mechanicsville without ever leaving. So they know the history there. And they were telling us that in the mid to latter 80s, there was a bordello run there in the upstairs back room. Now,
So that's where we should put Chris to sleep so he can keep his hands busy.
here's the irony.
You're number one, Melissa.
Here's the irony to that. The bordello was men servicing the women.
So again, we should put Chris up there so he can role play.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Well, we did. Ryan actually caught an EVP up there of a female that says, "I'm naked."
Oh wow.
Like, what the hell is that? It's random. I'm naked.
Wait, is this the room that's on? Once you get up to the top of the stairs, you hang a right.
Right. Yes. At the back of the house. Yeah, the upstairs back room.
That's where we did our Estes session. That's where Chris was receiving some pretty good stuff.
Yeah, it's insane.
And there was one point where he was like, "What the f?" or "Holy s," something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. The playback of it was just plain freaking nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to say, all right, so I've got nearly 20 years investigating. I would love to say, this is what's happening there. It's fucking impossible because there is so much there. Um, I mean, just there's layers upon layers upon layers in that location that just nothing makes sense sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Jake Fife and his dad were out there, Fife Paranormal, and his dad was standing up on the loft, and Jake standing in the middle of the like living room, and just all of a sudden, and he's doing a Facebook Live, and all of a sudden he gets this really puzzled look on his face, and he does one of these, and we're like, you know, kind of looking at the screen, going, "What the hell?" And he's going, "There was just a little boy standing right there." His dad's going, "Why are you standing here?" And off he went. But you know, I have no history of a little boy with that property at all, to a negative extent that, you know, he died there or anything like that. And that building, we know its history from build to current, because Ryan's grandfather built the place and his family has owned it ever since. Sorry, I got.
That works.
But so we have no history of a little boy tied to the property at any point in time.
Well, that's interesting you bring that up because Chris and I are going out to Malvern Manor in Iowa in October, and so it'll be his first visit and my third or fourth. And I know Paranormal Dares is going out there soon too, if not soon, really soon. Are you familiar with Malvern Manor?
No, I'm not.
Um,
I mean, I think some of the TV shows have done it. The name's familiar, but I'm not familiar with its history or the building or anything.
there's actually, I'm especially when I'm on the spot trying to remember names, but one of the guys who pioneered, well, not pioneered, but became known for the Estes method. He went out there and he's got a movie or a documentary on Amazon Prime about it. And so it'll give you a nice little roll through of there. And then Josh Hurd, um, he's one of the owners out there. But anyways, there's a little girl, Inez, that hangs out at Malvern Manor. And the interesting thing is it was either our first or second visit. Probably, I think it was our first visit when I went out there with on a PRS event. Is we found out that Inez never lived there, but she hangs out there.
Was she struck by a car close by, or maybe drowned in a pond on property or anything? Do we have anything tying her somehow to that close proximity?
So, about 2 blocks down, I think it was within a close proximity. The house that she did live in is no longer there. It's a parking lot now. But she was, her story is she was a young girl and she was outside playing with her brother Otto, and it was winter, and she's like, "I'm getting cold. I want to go inside." And Otto's like, "Okay, I'll be right in." So 5 to 10 minutes passes. Otto comes in, and his sister is hanging in the closet from her jump rope. And so we have been trying to figure out when we go to Malvern Manor, is it an entity that's presenting itself as Inez, or is it actually Inez? Because Malvern Manor, kind of like you said, a bus station. Malvern Manor actually was, back in the days of the railroad, was a central place for people to stay. It was a saloon. It was where people held their funerals. So it was a central hub to the community. So it would be a familiar place for her.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all right, so I went and see that it makes me wonder. All right, so do we have a time frame on her?
1800s.
Okay.
I think the latter 1800s. But I don't
Okay.
know exactly.
So would that have been about the same time that this was used as kind of a central hub?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I wonder if maybe one of her parents worked there, maybe mom was a housekeeper, or, you know, something along those lines, or, you know, maybe they had children there of the employees or the innkeeper. You know, there has to be something that would draw her back to that location, I would assume.
I'm not sure. And then as the years progressed, that then turned into a group home. and then also there's a nursing wing that was added onto it. So there's all sorts of things in that building. There's a shadow man that will chase people. I think he's about 7 foot tall. I have not encountered him, but there's a woman with multiple personalities. I want to say 12.
Is there?
At Malvern Manor. Her name is Gracie. And then there's another person, Sally. So, and then there's the captain, and then there's a grumpy old man named Hank. And you walk into his room, and he does not like women. And if you mess with his clothes, he'll start cussing at you, all sorts of stuff. So,
My kind of fella.
Right?
yeah, so we're introducing Chris to that too. And we'll see what he gets. Because Chris has been a really great receiver. And so,
Is receiver interchangeable with target?
no, Chris, tell him about, well, Fauquier Jail. He doesn't remember a whole lot, but we had a conversation with, well, we've talked about Fauquier Jail previously. We had a whole conversation with Tom, I think was his name.
Yep, Tom.
He cussed me out. He didn't like women, but he definitely related to Chris, and he thought that he was going to be able to come back to life.
And plus, the one girl, I guess, who was with us, she actually saw the presence behind me. I guess she has abilities, but she's not really fully aware of them.
Okay.
She was aware of them. She saw my dad with me that night, which was interesting because when I came home that day from doing a lockdown, my parents' dog. I love animals, but she's a little annoying. She's a yapper, and she was on me like white on rice, just like she used to be on my dad. So.
And plus, I guess she saw white oars around us, both of us.
Yeah, I think she was smoking crack.
Well, wait a minute. Maybe that was the old naval costumes. Wasn't an aura. She saw you in the uniforms.
I don't know.
I mean, hey, but yeah, I mean, talking about the young lady at Malvern. So I went up to son of a bitch, Saratoga Springs, New York, to go visit daughter and son-in-law that's Navy. So he was up there instructing, and we found this really cool tavern. It's Saratoga City Tavern, 5 stories tall. So we're sitting up on the first, like in the 5 stories, it's like just a English pub on the first level, like 80s based on the second level, like 90s on the third, dance hip hop thing on the 4th level, and then you got the rooftop on the 5th level. So we're sitting down in the front corner of the English pub, just first level. And as I look back across the room, I see this little girl that was probably 10, 12 years old, long brown hair, maybe down to about her elbows, walks across the back hallway. I went, oh, that was pretty damn interesting. Of course, nobody at my table saw her. I'm the only damn one that can see spirit. My daughter can sense them, and she's slowly developing, being able to get more and more with it. But she's also kind of going, it just creeps me the hell out. Okay, I can understand that. So the bartender comes out, and we're shooting the shit. I ordered my first beer, and then he's like, well, did you look at our test flights? And I'm like, no. I'm not a bar kind of guy, so I don't know what the hell he means by test flight. He goes, well, for us, a test flight is 10 different beers. I think they were like 4 ounces each, 6 ounces, I don't know. And I'm thinking, hell yeah. So he brings that back out, and I'm like, and I had seen the little girl walk back the other way. I went, so how long has the little girl spirit been around here? And his jaw drops, his eyes get about that big, and he's like, you saw her? Yeah, she walked across that back hallway over there a little while ago before you even came over, and then I just watched her walk back. He's like, okay, that's kind of creepy because I've only had 3 people see her, and now you're the 4th. But after the first one saw her, I started doing research. He's like, by the way, I'm the owner. And I'm like, oh shit. So you know your bar is haunted then? He goes, oh yeah, oh yeah. He goes, I did some research and I found out that in the early 50s, a block and a half away, a young lady was struck by a car. She was 10 years old and they brought her here for whatever reason. I don't know why they brought her this far, but they brought her here to meet the ambulance and she died here. I'm like, okay. He's like, she's not the only resident we have that we can't see though. And I kind of chuckled. I'm like, so the other one, is he the one that like plays pranks and locks the doors and things like that? How do you know that? I said, I can hear it and I can picture doors being locked. And he goes, all right, so, you know, we have 5 floors. And a lot of times the elevator is too damn busy. So like our bar backs will go outside and use fire escape and run up. They'll usually put a broom in the door to hold it so they can come right back down and come in. He goes, he got locked out. So he's standing outside the door, beating on the door for someone to come open the door. And he said he saw some man that he doesn't know walk up, look out the door, turn and disappeared. Freaked him out. He said he was thinking about quitting at that moment, but at the same time he's going, what the hell am I going to tell him? I saw a ghost and then they're going to look at me like I'm stupid and fire me? So he shut up. He goes, well, he finally gets done pounding on the door. Someone let him in and they came in and told me what happened. He goes, I went and looked at the security camera. The broom was leaned outward and you see the broom come back, the door pushed.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, I can't justify the way this thing works. The door pushed, the broom came back inside, and then the door pulled shut. He goes, somebody literally had to open that door up, grab the broom, and then pull the door shut. I've got a full view of everything on the camera, and not a damn soul was back there. Huh. He's like, the broom fell backwards. He's like, I'm convinced I have an asshole. Going, well, yeah, of course you do.
Wow.
So, but, you know, and that prompted me, like I said, it's these little seeds that prompted me to do more research on Saratoga Springs.
So what kind of fun stuff do we have to look forward to tomorrow?
Well, I'll give you a good synopsis. I don't know if you can do it. You're running OBS on there, right? I think it's
no. I'm running XSplit. So you want me to look up something?
Yeah, if you can go to soundcloud.com.
I got that on my phone.
Okay. It might stutter a little bit, but I can bring it up.
All right, so yeah, it's soundcloud.com/Dennis Estlock.
Okay.
And there's 2 files that are from the same moment of time. One is Do It Fucker, and the other is Bible Steel. And they're both out of Rock Hall that you'll get to investigate tomorrow night. But it's the most amazing piece I've ever captured. It's a full 2 minutes of EVP from the time we approached the building to the time that we left and then some. You can hear things going on. The most astounding is what sounds like 3 to 4 voices simultaneously singing Negro spirituals. But the reason I named the one Do It Fucker, Sandy White, the woman that was with me, there were only 5 of us on the whole property.
Wow.
Which, if you don't know, my most common nickname from Spirit is Fucker. I don't know why. Just is. So anyway, the 2 of us are in Rock Hall. There are 3 others on the whole property, and they're in another building called the Ordinary that's probably 300 feet away, 250 feet away. Doors are shut. It's kind of chilly. But she says, I told Reverend Whitaker, so Rockall is modeled to be like Reverend Whitaker's private residence would have been. Reverend Whitaker would have been like one of the higher dignitaries of the settlement. He would have been right up there with like the mayor and like co-mayor or second in command basically for the village. So I told him, I'm going to steal your Bible and go read from it in the church. What do you think of that? And you'll hear Sandy say, get up in his face and tell him what you think of him holding and touching your Bible. And you can hear a male voice very low in the background, but it sounds like he's trying to yell, but it's just this, do it, fucker. It's like, that's awesome.
Wow.
But we didn't hear a thing. And then not long after that, you hear her kind of clear her throat and go, that was me. And then you'll hear this deep male go, and then you'll hear like what sounds like 3 to 4 male and female, and they'll start singing spiritual. It's an amazing piece of audio.
So it's the one that's labeled "Do It, Effer."
Yeah, either that one or the next one, either above or below it, that's Rockall Bible Steel. They're the same moment in time, but Rockall Bible Steel has the singing much better, much louder. And it's very weird how one recorder picked up that male voice much louder than the other one, but it picked up the singing much louder than the other one. And we were standing side by side, holding our recorders in front of us.
Well, let's see. I've got it up. I don't know if you'll hear it on Skype, but I'm going to give it a play. And
like I said, it's about 2 minutes long, and if you go to about the 2/3 point, I don't remember the exact timestamp, but that's where the singing starts.
the 2/3 point.
Entering Rockall.
The hell killed my
Current
mind.
time is 1:22 a.m.
Oh, there you go.
Dennis,
Can you hear it, Chris?
name.
No, not yet.
We're just going to steal your Bible for a little while, Reverend Whitaker. I want to go over to the church, and I want to read from your Bible, sir. So you are more than welcome to join us at the church. I implore you to do so.
Yeah.
Tell him how you feel, Mr. Reverend Whitaker, about him taking your Bible.
If you got a problem, talk to me.
You get in his face and tell him how you feel about him taking your Bible and holding and touching your Bible.
Let's see. Seems like it's
Kind of lagging.
yeah. Do you mind if I post a link for this for people to check them out?
Feel free.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've shared it a dozen times, simply because, I mean, I absolutely love Henricus Park. I've hosted, I don't know, probably 12, 15 events there over the past 3, 4, 5 years. Fundraised for them quite a bit. I absolutely love the park. So if I can play this audio and get that park some attention, I'm all for it.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there any place that is not kind to women at the park? Like, is there a colonial frame of mind where I should kind of stay in my lane, or?
I would say, well, there's 2 areas. One, we call it Pervert's Closet. It's actually the sprinkler room up in admin. We've had females report being touched in an uncomfortable manner.
Okay.
We don't know who the spirit is that's up there, but he has a rather deep voice. Definitely makes females uncomfortable. And then secondly is up in the Reverend's bedroom, or what would be considered Reverend Whitaker's bedroom in this home. So we don't know who the spirit is that's up there either, but he has a habit of touching women. So I had a group with me. There were two girls and two guys that were with me. And one of the girls said the back of her calf, she was wearing like, I don't know what you'd call the, like, not quite ankle length, but not quite capris. They were shorter than capri pants.
Mm-hmm.
So the back of her calves were exposed. They were like long shorts. And she was sitting on the edge of one of the beds, and she goes, just all of a sudden it's weird, but the back of my calf just got like really cold. It was August. There's nothing really cold in August in Virginia. But I lit my lighter and I held it down to watch the flame to see if, is there a breeze? And the flame stayed stable, vertical. So then I started an EVP session just to do a burst. And I said, did you touch this young lady's leg? And I got a male voice comes back, and it sounds like he leaned into the recorder, and all you hear is, sorry. She was done. She was done. But that male voice going, sorry, was enough. She was done. She's like, it felt like pressure on my calf. And then to hear that, no, I think I'm good. I'm just going to stay in the ordinary. We went to our next rotation. She traveled along with us. We went to the hospital. She was wrapped up in her blanket with nothing but this visible. She looked like an Eskimo, and all you could see was this. Everything else, the blankets over her head, her knees are at her chest, and she's like this. She was done. We went back to the ordinary at the end of that rotation, and she went upstairs, curled up under a table, and went to sleep.
Wow.
So, I mean, those are the only two that, like, I mean, the chief isn't very thrilled about females going into his hut, but I mean, he's not an asshole about it. You can just tell that the energy changes. If you get 2 or 3 men in there, and then a female or two walks in, uninvited, unannounced, they just walk in, you'll feel the energy shift. With the Powhatan people that is based on, and that we know to have been in the area, women would not have been allowed in the chief's hut. So it was a sign of disrespect. So I do recommend knock on the hut, ask chief for permission to enter, and then go in.
Okay. Noted.
But other than that, there's really, I have yet to find anything out there that's harmful or negative. You won't, like, if you do go in and investigate the Corda, there's 2 buildings, like when you first walk through the gate, not over in the native village, but the settlement side. When you first walk through the gate, there's 2 buildings straight ahead of you, and that's Corda. That would have been like the guards' quarters. If you take any electronics in there with you, you're not going to get shit. But if you take a microphone from an H4n that you can put on a drop tail, drop the microphone in there, leave the recorder and all your bells and whistles and lights outside, you'll actually get responses. It's strange. They do not like any of the gadgets that we use.
Well, I don't blame them, because it'd be like, what in the world are those ungodly things?
Yeah, it's absolute alien technology to them, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. Nails. Oh my gosh.
Fat cat.
Yeah. She's like, hey, you're ignoring me. What's going on, mama?
Yeah. I highly, highly recommend take some time just to go sit and chill on the bluff. There's some picnic tables out there. Just go sit and chill on the bluff and watch around you. You'll see them move from tree to tree.
Nice.
There's a ton of shadow activity out there. I mean, virtually in every area there is, but the bluff makes it nice because it's a big open area, and you can account for what's around you, except for what, is human height moves from tree to tree. I can't account for that.
Wow. So that would be a good place to set up our camera and just kind of let it just observe.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, if you've got a good night vision camera and shameless plug here, if you got a good dead light, IR light that will light up that area, leave it run. You'll get amazed what you get. And if you don't have a dead light, light, I can hook you up.
Yeah, I've been looking. So now, speaking of gadgets, what's the new design? Can you show it off?
Um, I've got them broke down right now for packaging, but I can unpackage it for you tomorrow if you decide to stop by and pick one up.
Okay.
So my original, the original SLS camera was 14, 15, 16 inches tall because I built it with a U-frame camera carrier. So when I bought it with a U, it's not like
Like
this.
this? Oh, hang on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that looks similar to mine, but is that the Xbox One camera or a 360 camera?
360.
Oh yeah, throw that one away. You won't like it when you're done with mine. Sorry, no.
Free advertisement.
So mine works off the Xbox One camera, which shoots in high definition. It also gets you 30% farther range in the IR light and 30% wider field of view. It has a built-in mic array, so it can do its own audio record for you when you're recording. Plus, it'll map in up to 6 figures and assign a different color to each figure that it maps in. Plus, you can go into 3D viewing on it, so you can literally take your view, go towards the top of the room and look down, and if you see a figure here that's mapped in, but it's not putting a shadow, which would be from the IR light, you might have something standing there with you. They're super cool, but I shortened my frame up. I went with a different carrier design. I relocated my battery pack, which is strong enough to carry the camera for probably 2 days. But you can also use it to back up the tablet if the tablet gets low. How runs.
How big is that battery?
It's 6,000 milliamp hours.
Wow.
So it's a little larger than a like iPhone 7.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the size of an iPhone 10. Let me see if I have one sitting. I got one loose right here. I mean, it doesn't weigh hardly anything, but to give you a point of reference, I got to remember where the hell my cameras are. To give you a point of reference, it's about the same thickness as a pack of cigarettes. 50% taller than a pack of cigarettes.
That's way smaller than the one I have. Jeez. Mine is like.
Holy Christ.
I know. Let's see. Here's my iPhone X, right? So.
Oh my God, you're gonna love the camera. You definitely need to stop by. Chris, message me tomorrow, because from Henricus, I am 15 minutes up the road.
Oh, okay.
See, you guys are coming in from up north, so you're gonna run 95 probably. Well, you'll stay on 95 unless you're a fool, or if you're a fool. If you're a fool, you'll stay on 95 to Route 10. If you're not a fool, you'll run down 295 to Route 10. And at that same exit, instead of taking A, you'll take B and loop around to come to my house and pick up an SLS camera that you'll absolutely love.
Okay.
And
Definitely.
we'll show it off and we'll get a whole bunch of people wanting to buy it too.
Yeah.
I just finished my latest order, and that was 2 more for Paranormal Dares.
Yeah,
So-
Keith was telling us that he. Yep.
So, yeah, they absolutely love this camera. And they've got some amazing evidence with it. But they weren't even doing an investigation. They just broke it out to play with it and show the guy at a mansion up in Ohio that they were hanging out at. And the guy said, well, there's usually, we've had reports of, and we've caught audio of a child sitting on this bench. So they fired the SLS camera up, and sure enough, there is a figure sitting on the bench. And I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. I need to go there. And then the guy reaches his hand out and says, can you shake my hand? And you see the figure actually reach a hand out to shake hands. So,
Oh, wow.
So.
and
Tom Pellegrino from Parasnoopers, he has one of your builds.
He does.
And he captured, when we were at Fauquier Jail, you know that big mirror that they have in the war room?
I do.
He captured he captured two spirits reaching out and grabbing my hand with yours.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah, I try to keep track of who's got them and what all they've captured with them. And Tom told me he had caught some great evidence with it, but he didn't tell me details. So that's cool. And I know Sheena up at Dunlora Inn bought one also. And she said it's just been wonderful. She's caught all kinds of crazy things on it.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I'm really thrilled. I'm hoping. All right, so there's a guy whose name sounds like a place of prayer that you would go. You following me?
Mm-hmm.
He makes basically the same exact camera and sells his for about $1,200 to $1,500.
Yeah.
Mine are $600, and that's full build, ready to walk out the door and start capturing. So, I mean, you can't go wrong.
No.
No, not at all. I mean, a good price and a well put together system.
Yeah, we've witnessed it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad. I appreciate the plug. And like I said, I'm going to put one in your hands tomorrow that you can take to Enriquez with you.
All right.
Cool beans.
But
Awesome.
We appreciate it and thank you very much.
not a problem. Not a problem. And what's the best way to advertise? You put it in people's hands and say, go see what it does.
Yep. Test drive.
Yeah. Now, the
And
other
if
cool
Chris
thing-
can figure it out, anybody can do it.
Yeah. Smart ass.
oh my goodness. Damn.
See, that's why I brought somebody else to basically keep her in check.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
You know.
What's going on here?
Pranks. There'll be lots of pranks for him tomorrow.
Shoot. You know what kind of crap I used to post all sorts of stuff in everybody's office cubicles and stuff. You know me. I'm the prankster of the office.
Yeah, but I also know you split your britches at the office one day too.
Oh Jesus, not that again.
I just, please, for the love of God, tell me he was wearing at least, skivvies.
Yeah, I had skivvies on.
Okay.
That still is nonetheless embarrassing.
Yeah. I mean, I may have been in similar situation.
It was funny. He went to go sit down in his chair, and it was like
Rip. And I was like, shit.
pretty much. Now imagine we're working behind double gates. We were at the FBI Academy on Quantico, so yeah, you couldn't leave home very quickly to go change.
Nope.
Now,
Nope, not at all.
speaking of Quantico, have you ever had the opportunity to go through Hogan's Alley?
That's where we worked.
That's where we worked at.
Is it? Did you get
Mhm.
a chance to actually go through and use the range?
No, we could. Well, we didn't use the range, so I mean, because there were only certain areas we were allowed. Well, I mean, we could have wandered all over, but there was always some type of activity going on all the time. But of course, remember one of our coworkers? Do you remember when that one coworker, I guess, got attacked by all those wild turkeys?
No.
You mean you never heard Leslie tell you that tale?
No.
She got attacked by all those wild turkeys. Because there's a whole bunch of them. Yeah, but I mean, no, we didn't get to use the range or anything like that. But pretty much we were right in the movie theater. If you know, I guess I forgot what the name is. Because I guess it was the first movie about the FBI or whatever. But we were right there in the movie theater in the town. That's where we worked at.
Are there some cool stories about the range?
Well, in a previous life, I used to do hazardous waste cleanup. So we're talking nearly 30 years ago. But I spent nearly 8 months working on Quantico. They had exceeded the lawful bounds of their landfill. So we spent like 8 months bringing everything back within the established boundaries that it was supposed to be. And I got to be really good friends with the liaison, and ended up, I got the opportunity to make a run through Hogan's Alley. That was cool as hell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, it was, they were doing some, I don't know, like team building thing. So it wasn't like, you know, I got to go during the middle of some actual training exercise or anything. It was just some team building thing where it was like, hey, we've all heard about this. We want to go do it. So they let them go do it. And then here comes my dumbass with my liaison, and he's like, wonder if we just kind of fall in. I'm good. But I mean, that was like my dream job because, all right, so I got to work on Ford Motor Company's plant up in Michigan. And we're outside Flint. You know, they have a wonderful test track up there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the liaison that I was working with on that one, I got to get in one of their test cars. Like, you know, it hasn't been released in the marketplace yet. This is just, it's not prototype, but they're trying to work all the kinks and everything out. It was like a second-year model Mustang on the new body design or something, I don't remember. And he got in something else, and I'm not even sure what. And we made a big-ass lap around the track, just balls out, having a blast. Well, he kind of screwed up. He said we're going to do a lap. So I went to pull in, and apparently he decided he wanted to do another lap, and I wasn't ready to do another lap. Yeah, he packed me in the ass. He's like, park him and walk fast. Just walk fast. Park him and walk fast. I'm like, we're just leaving. He's like, they have more. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool, but I mean, some of those jobs did suck, man. I got stuck in the middle of winter on the Delaware River, and now I know what George Washington felt like. It was fucking cold. That's what it was. It was cold. You know, when you see all the drawings and everything, and it shows him standing on the front of the boat like this? Yeah, that's because he's going, get me the fuck over there. They got
His kahunas were freezing.
Exactly.
Wow.
But yeah, there was a crude oil spill on the Delaware. They opened the wrong valve to transfer from a tanker ship into the refinery. So my company got called in to go clean it up. Well, in frigid water, crude oil forms into like caramel, hot caramel, and then hits cold and sinks.
Oy.
But it's an ugly film on everything. So we're out there with like what we call diapers. They're an oil absorbent cloth, and we're wiping boats at piers. And it was a pain in the ass. But I mean, not only was it a pain in the ass, it was cold as hell. And you can't get warm when you're wet. I don't care what I tell you. I mean, the debate raged whether we just set ourselves on fire and say the hell with it.
Burn a long time too.
We understand that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I now know why Washington was you know, shown poised on the bow of that vessel like he was. He was pointing to get me over there. They have a fire. Go.
Oh my.
Chris is looking tired over there.
Well, yeah, I've been up since like freaking 2 o'clock this morning.
Well, we've kept him up past his bedtime.
You know, old people are like that, man. Sun's down, they're done.
He's only 3 years older than me.
And sun's done, they're done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I
But
think
yeah, you know, I really appreciate you coming on board and you know, tell some tales and give us some little pointers, you know, what to look for a little adventure tomorrow. It was awesome, and thank you for coming on, and you know, and we're looking forward to borrowing your equipment and showing it off tomorrow too.
You're certainly welcome to. Like I said, I'll send you out the door with the SLS and my deadlight. You know, if you need other equipment, I don't know how well you're equipped, but I'd be happy to send you out the door with some gear to go do your best investigating.
Oh, awesome.
You-
That'll be brilliant.
We love you.
What?
We love you. There's the deadlight alone. We're gonna walk in, people will be like, ooh.
Ooh, look at them. Look at them and all their hot, fancy stuff.
Well, wait, though. Wait. I guarantee you who's going to be the most jealous. And you can't say anything. I guarantee if they spot it, they'll be the first ones to give you shit.
I'm thinking one of two people right now.
Steve.
Oh. I have a one of a kind.
Does your name glow in the dark like Madison's does?
On her deadlight,
Uh-huh.
not my name, but wait. Let's see if I can get this in front of the camera right.
Ah,
Whoa.
I know that symbol. Yes, we do. That's twisted.
Yes,
Mhm.
that is the one-off twisted. So, yeah, if they catch sight of it, Lyle will chase you around.
He'll probably be like, who the hell are you and where did you get that from?
Well, he'll know where you got it because it's the only one, and this is my personal.
As Dennis Leary used to say, www.whatthefuck.com.
Yeah. How did you get that?
Oh, wow.
Oh man, that thing is like the freaking like it's like the Twin Tower world where the Twin Towers used to stand, the lights they stand up at on September 11th. That bright, jeez.
That's a
Whoa.
single,
Holy crap.
and that's through the diffuser. That's on its max.
Oh my lord.
So that's single. I'll tell you what, let me turn off my desk light here. That's a single on it. And there's the triple. It goes 60 watt.
Wow.
Good
So
lord, man, you'll burn your retinas out.
Don't blind yourself, yeah.
Well, when I unboxed the damn thing, I flipped the switch the wrong way, and I went, shit, I must have put the battery. Oh, son of a bitch! No, I didn't put the batteries on. I got it, and deadlight.
Awesome.
That's Josh.
Oh my god.
That is the way to go.
Holy mackerel.
But yeah, that is the way to go. Magnetic, removable diffuser. And that's what the guts look like behind it. So the the top and bottom row are all IRs.
Uh-huh.
Let me see if it'll actually show them off.
Yeah, I see them.
Holy mackerel.
Holy crap. So that camera can see the IR. Let me
Yeah.
kill my light again and reach behind my laptop here. All right. So
Wow.
that's fully adjustable IRs. Son of a bitch. So we can have one set of IRs on or two sets, and then we can fully adjust the output on them.
Wow.
I mean, this thing is just badass. When he did it, man, he did it right. There's no doubt about that.
You know, yeah, that thing is like, whew.
I'm going to be geeking out over technology tomorrow, Chris.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna be like freaking like going, holy crap, man! I'm like, you know, like all over the place, like squirrel moments, you know, left and right.
Well, no kidding, Dennis. Amazon visits my house pretty regularly, and you'll laugh at me when you see what I ordered today. I ordered a heat gun and let's see here, tube shrinking and solder points too. So
Let me see that heat gun for a moment.
it's not a really super expensive one.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Oh my god.
I just got mine, and the only thing I use it for is
The
heat
shrink?
shrink tubing
Yeah.
on the back of the SLS camera.
That's what I ordered a whole bunch. Because
That's
I
awesome.
mean, when I saw your build, I'm like, I wonder if I can do that. You challenged me. So,
See, and here's the secret. I don't care if people start building the same exact thing I built. I mean, I don't have a patent on the technology. It's open market software. The only thing is you have to know how to open the camera up, cut the wiring, and make the camera connect to the laptop. So it doesn't require it doesn't require an electrical engineer's degree or anything. So I mean, if I only sell what I've sold already, I'm perfectly happy. But I mean, I don't make much money on them.
I just wanted to get rid of, because all of this
The excessive wire.
is like annoying me.
Yeah, and I think you'll love mine. Let me see. All right, so here's what I can do. I'll show you a frame from my original design. And then give me 2 seconds here. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the new design, just the frame. All right, so, hold on, have I got enough light?
You do. Yep.
All right,
So there's the U grip.
that's the original frame.
Wow. It's so
And
much
I've got
smaller.
How much in size?
Nice.
Holy crap.
So the sensor goes down like in front of your fist, and then the tablet goes up on top, right?
Camera mounts here, tablet mounts up here.
Nice.
It's so much better than that. Now the weight is, like this one I don't have the battery on. This one has the battery already on it. And, you know, instead of this big conglomerate here, which I kind of liked anyway, because, see, that one has 2 cold shoes, one on each side. So I could mount a bullet camera on it, or not a bullet camera, but a bullet microphone, shotgun mic, whatever. But there's a 7 mic array built into the bottom of the camera already. Yeah. So, you know, but if you want extra IR light, there's, you know, the extra shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the knuckle here is much larger. Going, you know, you've got all this here that's kind of stupid, but it was the best way I could figure out initially. And then I found this frame. So now there's a pistol grip on the bottom. Oh shit, don't fall. Fuck you, gravity, you're no friend of mine.
It's nobody's friend.
Well, you know, everybody says, oh, karma's a bitch. Karma ain't got nothing on gravity.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I've seen some bitches that karma ought to hit like a Mack truck, but misses them. But gravity ain't one of them. So, yeah, I got rid of that for a base to sit on and went with that instead, which is much smaller, plus, and of course it screws to the camera here is why it's not stable right now, because it's not screwed to anything. So it gives you a pistol grip to hold it.
Huh.
And then when you're tired of carrying it, you open it up and you have a little tripod. So it works out great. So there we go.
Nice.
That is awesome.
And then,
Oh, man.
like I said, there's a USB output on the battery pack. It's 6,000 milliamp hour. There's a 12 volt output that runs to the camera itself. I've broke open the case on the cameras. I've accessed the 12 volt solder points on the board, soldered my leads to it, and run out to there. There's your whole rig.
Nice.
Oh my God.
And all I use on them are Microsoft Surface tablets.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's all touch screen, 10.8 inch screen. I mean, and All right, so I'm not going to tell why or who or where, but let me put this away. Let's see. I know it's here somewhere. So this moving thing sucks.
Yeah, I can see some of the boxes still. I know that feeling.
So this is the abomination that
Yeah.
Well, everything's got to start somewhere.
yeah, this was the one that I bought. Now I paid like $360 for this.
Yikes.
It's all black PVC that if I scratch it with my thumbnail, it comes off. There's this big wad of goop here, and there's actually like the USB bank mounts in here, but it's all black painted PVC that came off on my hand and on my clothing. So I just threw it aside and went, I know I can build something better.
Yeah.
I did. So
Yeah,
that son of a bitch there I'd give to you.
Ugh.
Only if you promise to launch it off the deck of your next carrier visit.
Shoot.
I don't know when that will be for me, but I'm kind of all civilian now, but.
Yeah, well.
But.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a biggie. What's up?
Our fee keeps dropping, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see me freezing up every once in a while.
I'm recording, so I'm going to post it on YouTube too, so that will be completely uninterrupted on YouTube. It'll just be a repost.
Yeah. I kept trying to watch it on watching what was being put out. There I see it. But I wanted to stay with chat and try to stay with them, but I kept dropping out, so it was kind of pointless.
Yeah. Well, we do appreciate you joining us. Maybe that's a sign.
Yeah, it's a good sign.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, Dennis. And I mean, we'll catch you tomorrow. We're on our way down there, so and Mel will kind of like hit me and stuff, on the way down. Hey, remember stop by Dennis's house.
Yeah.
Remember stop by Dennis's house.
Goodies, go.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll throw a charge on everything. Make sure it's up and running for you. I don't know what you guys have for gear, but what's mine, you're welcome to use.
Awesome.
I trust you both without a doubt. I know it'll come back to me.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we'll drop it off.
And I'll treat it like gold. I'll be like, this is my baby.
Mm-hmm. You better believe it.
Plus, you were kind enough to offer to stop and grab Emily on the way. Emily's an absolute sweetheart.
Yeah, well, figure's on the way, so why not? Somebody need, give them a ride down there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that was very kind of you. I have to say that. That was very kind of you to step up for a stranger and go, yeah, I'll pick you up.
Oh.
And I don't even think you knew her and I were friends, did you?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
I just, I said, well, because, I look at it this way. It's like, heck, I do it every day, going to work, I get picked up by strangers all the time. So just not ones with weatherless vans and stuff, that's the only ones I'll avoid.
Yeah, why not? So, a ride, sure thing. It's just how we were raised.
Exactly.
There's not a thing about slugging in this. There's not a thing wrong about slugging in this world.
No.
You're saving a ton of gas.
Mm-hmm. Wear and tear on your car, everything else.
Hell yes. Now, I commuted to D.C. for about 8 months. I ran tower crane up in D.C.
Oh.
There's a few good stories. So, all right. One of the best stories. We're working like 8 blocks away from the White House. I'm 85 feet up in the tower crane. And I've got a lull in picks, which is basically I'm doing nothing. So I'm sitting up there with the binoculars up, and I'm just kind of looking around. I look over at the White House, and I'm like, oh, cool, I can see the snipers laid out on the rooftop,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a smartass. Don't do that. All I saw back was this. I
Yep.
want you to know there is no chart that has enough zeros to qualify the pucker factor in that moment.
I'm sure.
Yeah, the simple fact that sniper took his hand off the forward arm of that weapon to just do that to me was enough to let me know he was looking right at me. That means probably here was going to be very absent if I did something stupid.
Yep. Exactly.
But it was really cool. I mean, being all right, so being in Richmond to get to DC, I had to leave here by 3:30 a.m. to get to my job by 7.
Mm.
Yep. No doubt.
If I left here at 4 a.m., I would get to my job by 9:30 maybe. It sucked. So my first day on the damn job, I left the house. I figure, all right, it's about a 2-hour drive. I've got to be there at 7. I better leave with a little extra time. So I left here at 4 o'clock. I got there at 9:30, and the superintendent's like, we start here at 7. And I went, I started 100 miles ago, 3.5 fucking hours ago.
Yep.
What's wrong with people around here? They don't know how to drive. And he's like, well, you need to leave earlier.
What are you supposed to do? Leave at midnight?
Yeah, I had to leave at 3 a.m. each morning, and depending on where we were at production wise, they would work me till as late as 9 p.m.
Ouch.
And then I would drive home. Sorry, I'm lighting a candle.
No worries.
But then I would drive home and try to eat. Damn it. And then try to get a little sleep before I left. So yeah, I was more than happy when that position in DC ended. I didn't have to do that bullshit anymore.
Oh yeah.
I don't see how people in Northern Virginia can stand it. I couldn't. But nonetheless, I'll leave you two alone. You'll have a blessed night. Thank you for letting me
Right.
crash the party.
Thank you
Oh,
for joining
thank you,
us,
Dennis.
especially like impromptu.
Exactly. I mean, you kept things interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like I could, put on makeup and shit and still look at me and go, that poor son bitch.
Oh no.
I'm telling you, if I looked like me, I'd shave my. Wait, you look like.
And walk backwards.
Yeah. If I had a monkey that looked like me, I'd shave its ass and teach it to walk backwards.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, good night, Dennis. And catch you tomorrow.
Good night,
Thank you.
y'all.
Thank you
Safe
for
trip
joining
down.
us. Good
Will
night.
do.
Alrighty.
Awesome.
Hang on. Alright, it doesn't want to play tonight. We're just gonna